Hello there, and welcome to the Us Time Film Podcast, where we talk the latest in blockbuster film and TV. This week we're talking about Shazam, Fury of the Gods. My name is Tom, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host John. How are you this week?
Great, yeah.
Come
Just
on,
um
enthusiasm.
yes, we can't wait to talk
Woo!
about the Fury of the Gods.
This definitely isn't the second time that we've recorded this
Oh
intro.
no. We
We
what are
are
you talking about?
professionals.
We're professionals. We've been doing this podcast for 2 years now, so we just had
Yeah.
a scuff intro. But anyway,
Here
how
we
are you,
are.
Tom?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm just smiling like an idiot. Yeah, just trying to get through it.
Smiling like an idiot. I had just like Shazam. Wow. Segue. Shazam Fury of the Gods. Briefly explain the plot for those who don't know. Let's get straight into this, shall we?
Yes, I'll do it enthusiastically. Okay. Billy Batson and his fellow foster kids are still learning how to juggle teenage life with their adult superpowers alter egos when a vengeful trio of ancient gods arrives on Earth in search of a magic stolen from them long ago. Shazam and his allies get thrust into battle for their superpowers, their lives, and the fate of the world. And this movie, yes, let's get into it.
So yeah, we're going to be discussing full spoilers. So you have been warned. We talked about the first Shazam, didn't we? A couple weeks ago. We really,
Indeed.
we really liked it. I thought it was an absolute top-notch movie. What are your
And
thoughts
that's super silly.
about this here sequel?
I was surprised in a bad
Mm.
way,
Mm.
because we had that massive, expectation after we watched the first one. It was such a joy to watch. And then this one, it was just so all over the place. It's like the film trying to focus you like at so many different plot points, and I felt there was such a weird plot ideas that they throw into, especially at the end. We'll talk about the end, but yeah, it was such a mess for me.
I'm 100% with you. There's a good movie in here somewhere. And I don't even
Yes.
think it's like buried beneath. It's not like, to give another recent example, it's not like Quantumania. It's not like
Oh, of course not.
it's
No.
it's not completely useless and lacking in the simple skills. In the first act, it's building things that could really work and could really come together to make something good. But there's so much going on that it's all over the place, and the things that you kind of need focus on just aren't there. It feels like at the end of the first movie, Billy gives all the powers to his family, and we get the Shazam family. And from there, you feel, okay, so the sequel is going to be this story about all six of them learning to work as a team, learning to work together. We can develop all of the characters as one, but it wasn't really interested in doing that.
No, yeah, and I just felt like we could have explored the family, but we just only get like small hints of their life, what we did. But in the first one, we did get like, a variety of their life in that home. But in this one, we only get to explore Billy's character arc, which is a bit messy. We know that he's trying to be this type of leader in this film. He's leaving his parents' house. That's what he thinks, he's going to get kicked out by the age of 18. It makes you want to focus on that, but there's other things to focus on, like the trio of the ancient gods. They throw in like Greek mythology into this film. I just don't know what to say. It just felt really messy. You were focusing on different character development, but I just couldn't even focus what was happening. I was like, that's kind of cool, but what did I just watch? Not gonna lie, the dragon in this film was cool.
Yeah, the one thing, the dragon was cool, everything else, not so much. No, I think that you're right. The first film had so much more focus, and because it was so focused, it managed to, in very simple ways, convey the characters of all the family. And it's a good way to spring off with Billy's arc. Billy's arc in this film, it feels like it's a natural character progression. He wants to keep everyone together because he's so scared of keeping them apart, and he doesn't feel like he's a worthy hero. He doesn't feel like he is anything on his own, and he has to prove that to himself and to everybody else, and to sacrifice himself at the end. And that is the culmination of his arc. The problem is there's so much going on in the movie other than that, that this kind of gets lost. There's another kind of plot line, as you say, about him worried that he's going to get kicked out of his home. There's this very, very, very small subplot. Literally, it happens in 2 scenes where he won't call Rosa mum, and then he does at the end. We barely get any of Billy, like as a kid, like in school, or just kid Billy. We barely get any of that.
Yeah.
And there's also this plot about Billy being stupid. Like in the first film, the wizard says, "Oh, you will have the strength of Solomon," and in this one, they're like, "Yeah, we don't have the strength of Solomon because Billy's a moron." and he is a bit of a moron. But
But
that
isn't it the mind
so
of
much.
Solomon?
What did I say? What did I say?
You said the strength of Solomon.
I said strength of. Apparently, I am stupid as well. I meant the wisdom,
Wisdom
but
of Solomon.
yes, wisdom. Point being is that even for Billy's character, there feels like there are so many different things happening, and I don't feel like any of it is truly given enough time to cook.
Exactly. I just didn't feel like there was a lot of things to develop. Like, as you said, the first act was like definitely cooking. And not gonna lie, the opening was cool. I really like how it was setting up two of these gods. It was really terrifying because, David F. Sandberg, he was a horror director and he knew how to
Yeah.
really set that up for the opening. And I really like that was really cool. But then again, that isn't really explored with the other gods. They're just like, oh, we need Earth because powers. We want our powers back. And the really, really annoying thing is that we only get to hear about their motivation or anything about their life. It's just through dialogue and books in the library. You don't really see that emotional motivation for the gods, like, oh, they took our powers. We don't want these children to have our powers. It's just like a typical villain. Oh, we want
Mm.
powers.
We really praised Savannah in the last movie, and while he's not perfect by any stretch, he's carried by the fact that the film opens with him, and we get a really strong motivation for him, his feeling of powerlessness, and the treatment of his family, and that ties into the themes of family throughout the movie. It all ties together really nicely in the first one, but in this one, you have three villains, and they each have a different perspective on the same motivation of we want our powers back, we want to grow back this tree. Lucy Liu's character, Calypso, I think, is very kind of like angry. She believes that humans are below gods, and so she plants the tree in Philadelphia at the end. And then you've got Hespera, which is Helen Mirren's character, who doesn't really care and just wants the thing so they can plant the tree in their own realm. There are a couple times when Hespera even says to Billy, it doesn't have to be like this, you didn't have to get hurt. And then you've got Anthea, who for some reason goes undercover, I guess, at the
Yeah.
school and has this weird romantic subplot with Freddie, which potentially is the weakest part of the film, apart from the
And
ending.
bizarre.
Yeah, so bizarre. Like, what's up with that?
Why is she undercover though?
It's not really explained. I guess she
She's
wants
just
to find
there.
Freddie. I understand what they were going for, but you don't need that. That is probably the part of the movie that you really can just throw out. Like, Freddie already has his own arc that you get set up from like the first scene with him in where he wants to do his own thing and Billy's trying to pull him back. That is completely lost through Freddie getting kidnapped and mostly then being on his own throughout the narrative. All of that kind of arc is lost. And that's just a huge, huge shame because the bridge scene I thought was really solid. There's a lot of good setup in that first scene where the kids are all in the house and then they go out to the bridge and they save everyone, but they also destroy the bridge and they have this name that they're the Philadelphia Fiascos. I think that works really nicely and that's a nice setup for these heroes who need to learn to work as a team and need to learn how to actually.
Be a hero. Yes.
Yes.
That was setting up from the first film, as a family, like working together. And then
Mm.
this one, it was like trying to set that up. Billy trying to be a leader, but he doesn't know how to. So there's that character growth. But then with the complex dynamic with the trio and Billy, that was just thrown in. It didn't mix together that well. There wasn't really much of a dynamic in that film. If you look at like other protagonists and the antagonists, there should be like a dynamic between them.
I think Shazam and Hespera talk like three times in the movie, and nothing about it is especially captivating or has much to say about the themes or about the character arcs, anything like that.
What was the themes in this film anyway? Like in the first one, it was actually about family and yourself trying to find your true family, essentially.
Mm.
But this one, I didn't know what the themes were. It was just so messy. I just couldn't like, is it about growing up? Is it, trying to be a leader? What was it really essentially? Family? I guess family. Oh my God, Fast and Furious. But no. Yeah. I
Again,
just
god
couldn't
damn it.
really focus.
It always comes back to Fast and Furious. They even make a joke about Fast and Furious in this movie.
They
But
do.
if I was to kind of think about what the themes could be, I like the idea of the themes being growing up. I think Billy as a character needs to grow up in many ways. And you've got Mary who wants to grow up and wants to go to college, but she made that choice not to go so she could be a superhero with her siblings. And then you've got Freddy, who wants to kind of be on his own as a hero, and Billy trying to keep everyone together. And at the end, having to make that choice to grow up and do that sacrifice, as I said earlier. But if that is the theme of the movie, it's not very clear. I'm having to think, and even now, I'm like, it doesn't really sound like there is any particular theme, really. They don't really do anything with the fact that all the villains are so old and that they're so ancient. Like, you could explore the fact that growing up can lead to an aversion to change, but I don't think necessarily they did that. And like you say, in the first movie, everything is so well tied back to those themes. In this one, it feels like whatever themes they are just kind of hanging in midair, and you can't really grab them all.
Yeah, it's just the subplots that's just ruined it all. Thea and Freddy relationship, and there's this whole idea that Freddy is kind of powerful, like in human form, which is not explained at all. Like
Yeah.
somehow he got through the mind possession of like trying to tell the names of the family, and then somehow was walking towards that dragon while it was about to kill them. I don't know what it was, like he just could walk through it.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he's got great spirit. And it's like, cool. We gonna do anything with that? No? Okay. Freddy loses his powers. And all the other characters apart from Billy eventually lose their powers. And to me, it felt like such a waste. What is even the point of giving everyone these powers if you're going to get rid of them so early in the film and not give everyone a true chance? Like, when all of the heroes fight Hespera, immediately Pedro gets his powers taken away. Eugene is paralyzed. Darla and Mary are both tied up, and then it's just Billy versus Hespera. I don't even know why we're doing the Shazam family at all if you can't see everyone working together as a team and everybody having these superpowers. And I pray that if there is a Shazam 3, who knows if that's happening, but I pray that if there is one, they actually let the Shazam family do things. Apart from that bridge fight, I can't even think of a time where they actually do anything with their powers.
And I just felt like there wasn't variety for that superhero family, really. And I don't know why they've done that gimmick of like, oh no, they take the powers. I don't know what it was achieving in the first place with like this whole idea with the family and this going against the gods. You don't see the other sides of the Greek gods. In Wonder Woman, Ares killed all like the proper powerful Greek gods.
Yeah. I know there's the easy argument that Shazam is very separate from Wonder Woman, but not really, because the
Not
ending of the
really.
film, literally having Wonder Woman as the only remaining god, again, I want to save that till the end, because oh boy, I've got so much to say about that. There's just so much going on. There's even a subplot with the parents where they find out that everyone's superhero, but you don't get the opportunity for there to be any
No.
drama and any conflict within the family about all the kids like leaving and not telling the parents like what's happening. And that, like, you get like one scene where they're like, hey, where you going? And Darla's like, hey, we're gonna fight crime. Whereas in the first movie, there was always the main conflict between Billy and Freddy, this emotional conflict that we get was very consistent throughout, and we get to feel that family dynamic, whereas in this one it feels like it completely disappears in the middle of the movie and just
Yeah.
so much happening.
I was just sitting there in the cinema. I didn't know what I was experiencing. And okay, so then this plot twist, if you can call it, like the true villain was Lucy Liu's character this entire time, and then Helen Mirren's character just gets killed by the dragon. I'm like, what? Why did you even add that in? It doesn't make sense. Helen Mirren was like, oh no, we must not do this, and just gets killed. I was just sat there, nearly about to have a brain aneurysm. I just couldn't like, why? Why would you do that? And
Yeah,
then,
why even have these like three different villains if only one of them really contributes as an antagonistic force and the other two are just there to do very small things in the climax and also very loosely being part of like the theme again, which is a very difficult theme to even pinpoint. I do want to be positive because I feel like we're talking so much about the plot and about the things that didn't work. And while there is a considerable amount, I didn't necessarily walk out from this film thinking, oh, it's terrible. I just kind of thought it was fine because there were good elements. As I say, the first act, I think we were setting up some really interesting stuff, and I think that works quite well. I think all the acting were really good. All the characters are still likable. I'm not sure how I feel about Zachary Levi as Shazam. I feel like he's a bit too much of a goofball. I much prefer what Asher Angel is doing with his portrayal as Billy. I think that feels more like a protagonist that I want to follow than Zachary Levi's Billy, which is much more kind of just downright idiotic and goofy. But one thing that I did really appreciate in the movie was the score. I thought the score actually worked really, really
Hey,
well.
yeah, I thought there was some great parts in the score that was like picking up the film, making it really interesting. I don't want to be too mean about this. I'm sorry, but it's like you're watching paint dry on the wall. You know, like you're watching paint dry on the wall
Wow.
while Hans
Brutal.
Zimmer is playing Time, and it's like, wow, this is art. Who made that score?
The first film was scored by Benjamin Wallfisch, and the second film was Christoph Beck. Christoph Beck, we might recognize from Ant-Man movies, and I think that the Ant-Man movies have a really, really good theme, especially the first one. It's like, if you listen to our video, that is such a good score, and I think that he did some really, really great moments with this score. There's a really great use of the Wonder Woman theme, which I thought was hilarious. But some of those moments really, really work because of that. And in different ways from the first one, this film is quite funny. I don't know if it's always intentional, but I just think this film was just sometimes just a bit stupid and it made me laugh. There's one scene, for example. So earlier in the film,
Yeah.
Mary says to Darla, "Why have I got Skittles in my pocket?" And Darla says, "Oh, you were feeling sad, so I gave you some Skittles." And then later on, they have to tame the mighty unicorn. And at the last moment before it tramples everyone, Darla throws Skittles to it. And he eats the Skittles. And Darla says, "Taste the rainbow." And then we just get this whole thing about ridiculous. It was so stupid, and I kind of loved it. It really was unapologetically awesome. I really, really enjoyed that level of stupidity in the movie. Like, were they sponsored by Skittles?
I
Amazing.
I thought I was watching an ad when Darla says "Taste the Rainbow." I was like, "Yeah, this is Skittles. This is just like an ad." I just couldn't believe what I was watching, and I was like, "I
Amazing.
mean, a unicorn's eating Skittles." I'm like, "Now I want Skittles. I want."
I love Skittles. Let's go. Damn, the
Let's
marketing
go.
worked. Yeah, the
Um,
comedy I think was decent, but I think it was funnier because it was a bit stupid. Like I think the first film is just so much funnier. Another thing I liked the wizard got more to do in this one. Not a whole lot, but if anyone remembers our Kingsman review all the way from the beginning of last year, I love Djimon
oh,
Hounsou, and he rarely ever gets
wait.
his dues. I think he even did an interview recently where he talked about being disappointed because he's still getting these side roles and he wants to be taken seriously as an actor. Well, I take you seriously as an actor, Djimon, and I really, really would love him to do more. And also his drip at the end, lovely,
Oh,
lovely, sir,
oh, I was like,
looking great.
yes, this is so much better. Like drip,
Yes.
full.
To continue my final bit of positivity that I can give this film, I
Okay.
think the set pieces were really well done, and there's a lot of creativity of different realms that they use. And as you say, the dragon was cool, and there's like CGI creatures that come out. The CGI wasn't bad at all. I thought that was really cool, but all roads lead us to the end. I mean, we got to talk about it, right? The ending of this movie
Oh my,
is,
can I explain it?
please do.
Okay, so in this final bit of the film, Billy sacrificed himself to fight against Lucy Liu's character and the dragon. Not gonna lie, the whole fight was kind of cool. You know, like what they've done with the lighting and
Mm.
etc. And then Billy
And there was
Billy
some really
goes
nice emotion
Shazam, and
as
then
well.
boom.
The music really uplifted that. And honestly, if it wasn't for the TV spot which showed Wonder Woman in it, I would have
Yeah,
believed that they were sacrificing Billy and I would have been like, oh, that's a really emotional moment. But they already put it in the marketing.
yeah, it's stupid. Everyone's like, "No, Billy, no, Billy, you're stupid. Please wake up, please wake up." And I was like, "Oh my god, this is like really emotional. Like this is
Mm,
where the film's going." And before we get into that, I thought that they were going to set up the idea of so each of the family member, like they need to unite together to create Billy Batson, like in the Flashpoint comic, where Billy Batson is dead in this comic, and they all need to unite together to be Shazam, like one figure. That's what I thought. So such an emotional moment. We were like, man,
mm.
this is great. And then the back in my head, I was like, wait, that TV spot.
Yeah.
Why did we get shown
Stupid.
that TV
Who
spot?
who who did that? That was such a
And then
stupid idea.
Everyone's like, "No, Billy," and they buried him in this Greek floating city somewhere, and then
Sure.
were like, "Is there a way to bring him back or something?" And then Gal Gadot's character, you can hear her voice,
God.
and just like, "I know what to
God.
do," and then Hans Zimmer's piece just blared like in the cinema,
Oh
and
my God.
it was like Wonder Woman's theme, and I was laughing so hard. I just couldn't believe
It
what
was
was
so
happening. Gal
it was
Gadot was like,
ridiculous.
"Hey guys, I'm here," and then she somehow got the staff, put it together, and then she's like, "Hey guys, I've solved it. Whoa, hey, I'm here."
Yeah,
And then
woo.
brought Billy Batson back to life. And then we somehow went back to this stupid subplot of Billy trying to be in love with Wonder Woman at the end. And
Whoa. Okay, I have so much to say. First of all, what a Deus Ex Machina. That came out of literally nowhere and it solved the entire plot, and we're back to where we started. Not a single thing changed. Oh my God, that is just like the peak of laziness. Like,
so
please. I was so
it
upset that they just resolved it just like that and nothing changed in the wider arc of the movie. The characters haven't changed their way of life or they haven't gone through any particular arc. Wonder Woman just comes in and saves the day. Ridiculous. Absolutely stupid. Second of all, it looked weird, and I'll tell you why it looked weird, because Gal Gadot wasn't there on set. It was a body double, and they just CGI'd her face onto it.
yeah.
Wow. Just incredible. And here's the third thing. Yes, they play Hans Zimmer's score. Yes, it's a banging track, but oh my God, what a weird way to use it. As Wonder Woman walks slowly across the screen. I'm so sorry, but it was just so strange. Like, wow. Wow, what a choice.
It's so weird. Like once you look back into BVS, Wonder Woman comes out of nowhere, and then that track like completely gives you chills in that scene.
Yeah,
In
incredible.
this scene in particular, is Wonder Woman gonna fight? I mean, no, it's just like her, like, I know what to do and I'll solve everything, and it just contradicts everything. Like the film's entire arc.
Yeah, nothing
Uh,
changes. The only thing that's changed
it,
is that the house is now being rebuilt.
oh yeah.
Hespera and Calypso
Oh,
died, and now the parents know. But in the grand scheme of things, we haven't really gone anywhere.
I just couldn't believe it. The cameo, I just don't know why that was so needed. And it was such an evil way for filmmaking. It just reminded me of all the fake out deaths. Like there's one in Space Jam Legacy something, I don't know, but when Bugs Bunny
Oh, I
was about
forgot
to
about that.
die.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of fake out deaths in The Rise of Skywalker. So, yay, we're comparing Shazam to The Rise of Skywalker. I'm just like, it's disappointing because the first film was so solid. And I don't know what happened. This one's just so overambitious and it just lacks the focus that it really needs. And I'm just, yeah, what a shame. What a shame, really.
Yeah, I was just so surprised. Like we went from Shazam, the first one, and then to this. I don't know why Gods needs to be in this specifically. Like it could have been focused on maybe a different DC villain.
They set up Savannah with Mr. Mind at the end of the first movie, and they didn't do anything with that. Apparently, they're in the second post credits. I don't know. I didn't watch it, so
I didn't watch the second post credit. I didn't,
yeah.
but I did watch the first post credit scene. Is Shazam going to be in the DCU?
I don't know. I mean, that post credit scene implies that Shazam's going to be part of the Justice Society and all that. I don't know what any of it means really, and it's all a bit disappointing. I came out of cinema and I didn't think it was bad, but now when we're talking through it, I'm a little bit like, I'm not really sure whether it does hold up and whether there are those redeeming qualities.
Yeah, there weren't. I'm just being honest. Like there aren't any like anything that redeems this film, like in terms of like character arcs and that horrible piece of cameo. No
That
disrespect to
that
Gal,
that
but
horrible piece of cameo. Good.
that cameo was not fit anywhere in that film. I don't know why that was a choice. I
Yeah,
guess
I
they wanted to
mean,
have Wonder Woman.
I guess, sure. Was it an attempt to connect the DCEU, which is basically dead now? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if you got this, but before the film, there was a Flash trailer.
Yes, I got this
That
actually.
I enjoyed that more than the movie itself. I enjoyed the Flash trailer more than I
Yeah,
enjoyed
same.
Shazam. And apparently Tom
I was
Cruise
like,
liked the Flash. So, please be good.
oh my God. Everyone, like even directors and actors like hyping about the film, like this is great. This is, this is one of the best things, the film, the cinema needs right now. And like, this is what we need to watch. I hope it is good. The news after news about Ezra Miller, like there's lots of news that we won't go into that. And I'm like, am I still excited for it? But the trailer, I'm
I mean,
intrigued.
we've
Yeah.
we've covered all the DC movies since Wonder Woman 84, excluding Super Pets. And we did a video recently about how exciting the DCU is and this new slate that James Gunn gave us. And unfortunately, Black Adam wasn't great. Shazam hasn't been great. That's two in a row of live action. And I know that the Batman was fantastic, but I'm just worried that DC is going to not hit it because Marvel has fallen into that trap. And I feel like most Marvel movies now aren't hitting it. Not that there aren't
Yeah.
exceptions. And I'm worried for DC. I really hope The Flash is great. I really hope Blue Beetle is great. I really hope Aquaman is great. And of course, beyond that. But it's just a shame that this one, because who knows? Who knows whether we'll ever get a Shazam 3? And if we don't, this might be the last time we see this
Hmm.
iteration of these characters. And that's a huge shame.
Yeah. I just don't know what to say else for this film.
Well, what are you gonna give it out of 10? Give me a ranking.
I'm gonna give it 3 out of 10.
Ooh, wow. I mean, that's pretty steep. I mean, I think I would have to go maybe 4 or 5. It's a huge shame. It really is. Come on, Flash. Please be good. This is difficult because I love The Flash and I love Michael Keaton's Batman. If you put a movie of those two together and it's bad, ooh, I'm gonna be
Ooh,
very sad. I'm gonna be
oh,
very,
he's
very
about to be sad.
disappointed. Because this
Yeah,
one's disappointing. But there we go.
it's not bad, not good, but it's like watching She-Hulk.
Mm,
There's something weird about it, but you can't explain it. It's like,
yeah.
huh?
It's the mediocrity that I feel I have been criticizing Marvel for a while. And I've always thought, well, DC has more than that. And I still think that they have the opportunity to be more than that. But two films in a row that have been pretty mediocre, arguably pretty bad.
Yes.
That's not good going.
I don't know why I heard somebody that they said that Black Adam was going to be in Shazam too.
No, I mean, we're not going to see Black Adam again, are we? We're not. That's not happening.
No, I guess the hierarchy of DC didn't change.
I mean, technically it did
Yeah.
because
But
James
anyway,
Gunn is here and he's doing different things. But yeah, they tried. It's mad that the final time that we're ever gonna see the Trinity as we know them, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot as Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, potentially will be in Black Adam, The Flash, and Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Just bizarre, absolutely bizarre. It's such a strange thing.
the DCU is going to be lost.
The
Now it's
DCEU
going to be
is
focused on
lost. It's
it's
over,
lost.
man. 10 years, I would say that most of the movies are good. In fact, I think we may be looking at a 50-50 split where I think half of them are good, half of them are bad, but it hasn't had the cultural impact that it wanted to. It hasn't built the universe that it wanted to. Time to start fresh. It has to be
Yes.
said. And James
Oh,
Gunn is directing Superman Legacy, which is really great. That's going to be amazing.
yay. Yes. Did you see that tweet?
Oh my
Oh,
God. Amazing. Him
wow.
talking about
Yeah.
his father and how fathers and sons are such a big part of Superman and that story and what he wants to tell, and how he only directs movies that really speak to him like that. That sounds perfect. That's exactly what I want from a Superman movie, directed by James Gunn. You think about any of his other movies, whether it be Guardians 1 or 2, or The Suicide Squad, or Peacemaker, any of his other comic book movies, or even TV shows in the case of Peacemaker. So much of it is about family, and so much of it is about fathers and sons. And I feel like that, which is such a core of what Superman is about. You see it in the original movie, you see it in Man of Steel, you see it all across the Superman mythos. It's going to be great. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely there on day one for his film. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everything to talk about DC right now in Shazam.
Thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoyed it and you're listening on YouTube, you can give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify, you can follow and give us a 5-star review if you think we're worthy. And next week, we don't even have to think about Shazam. We're going to go back in time and we're going to talk
Oh,
about The Fablemans, which is such a fantastic movie. And
oh my God. Yeah.
there's none of the negativity that we're showing today.
We absolutely love that.
What a brilliant movie.
Loved
And
it.
you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Outstime Film Pod and tell us your thoughts on Shazam,
Mm.
Fury of the Gods. Did you even see it? Tell us about Shazam, about Fury of the Gods, about the state of DC at the moment, and about the future. What did you want from this movie? What do you want going forward? Any of that, if you email us, we'll read it out loud on the podcast. And I
Thank
think
you for
that's
listening.
everything. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.